Hello and welcome to the interview here on France 24. Our guest today is Célhia de Lavarène, who is a French journalist who's worked for years at the United Nations. She's also been on 7 UN missions, and she wrote an account that should be published soon in English. It was just published here in France. The stars have deserted the sky. Thank you for being on the set today.
Thank you for having me.
You recount in this book, it goes from Timor to Cambodia, from Bosnia to Liberia, several of those missions, and especially how you became involved in fighting sexual trafficking. You are heading some police squads that are trying to track down those traffickers, also the girls, often minors, who are being used as sex slaves. And it seems from what you tell in the book that you had a bitter experience. In a way, you felt that you were saving lives, but that there was a big machine probably going against you, and that sexual abuse is not something the United Nations is really concerned about.
No, and actually it's funny because when I started to lead those corps, I saw that I would have the support of the UN. And curiously, I did not. I mean, not only I had to fight the traffickers, which was in my job description, but I had to fight the UN, New York, who was absolutely against what we were doing.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe because, you know, it's, I don't know how to say in English, le repos du guerrier, boys will be boys. And they saw that I was trying to stop their blue helmet from exerting the right of man. I don't know.
So you're saying that essentially there was a policy decided at the top levels of the UN headquarters in New York to turn a blind eye on those abuses by civilians, but also by blue helmets, policemen, civil members of the UN teams that wanted some relaxation, if you want, from the tasks they were conducting every day. Is this what you're saying?
I would not say it's a policy. It's just a non-written rule. I mean, it's like, you know, you go for 6 months, and after all, why not? It's not too bad. Who cares about those young girls? Who cares to know that they were brought to Bosnia, for example, or to Liberia just to serve as sexual slaves?
Have you encountered cases that were supposed to be reported to New York? First of all, the cases that were not reported, and in some cases when they were, no action was taken.
Not only they were reported, like 2 Pakistanis and several people, but the problem is that between the time we sent the report and the time they did actually they did not do anything, because in the report there were nothing. The file had disappeared. I don't know where is the file. You
mentioned the example of 2 Pakistanis. Can you tell a little bit what you say they did?
We went to a raid and we got 2 little girls, 12 and 13.
In Bosnia?
Yes, in Bosnia. It was in Tuzla, actually. And they were from Romania. And we took them to a breakfast before taking them to a shelter in Sarajevo. And while we were having breakfast, 2 men entered the cafeteria. And I saw the girls getting under the table, and we were like, what is going on? Finally, they told us what was going on. They came maybe 2 or 3 nights before. They paid to use the girls for the night. They tortured them with razors. They forced them to have sex with animals. And when we got the how do we say deposition?
Yes, the testimonies, yes.
Yes. Of course, we sent everything we had to New York, but those 2 guys, they disappeared during the night. They left.
And nothing ever happened to them?
Nothing at all. That's why I put their name in my book, because I want them to pay. one day.
Pakistan is...
Big troop contributors, of course.
That was my point. So
You know, it's
do you
funny.
think that's the reason that,
Yeah.
you know, the UN needs those countries that
Yes.
contribute to the blue helmets, and therefore, if there is a Pakistani or someone
Yeah.
from Bangladesh...
You know, let's be frank. I
Please.
mean, you have some shitty countries where my country, so-called normal country or so-called civilized country, don't want to go. So you have Pakistan, Bangladesh, Africa, and all those countries who have troops. Understand them. So we don't want to, you know, we have to, we have to be nice to them.
But the official policy, especially after the recent spate of controversies, was that it's a zero tolerance policy. The outgoing UN Secretary General said it. There was a report about it. I mean, hasn't this changed recently? I mean,
No.
from your experiences a decade ago?
No.
Not at all?
If it, let's say, report don't, you know, are nothing. I mean, you can write a report and nobody will read it. If it has changed, why would we talk now about, you know, Central African Republic or RDC or whatever? I mean, we would know that people would be sent home or maybe they do for one or two, but no.
But the problem is the UN says we cannot sanction those individuals.
Yeah.
The countries they come from are the ones who have to go after them. So the UN...
Yeah, but it's easy, you know, when the UN doesn't want to do anything, it's easy to say it's to those countries to take action. But when they want a country to take action on another level, they put pressure on the country. Why don't they put pressure about sexual exploitation and things like that? Why not?
There is a case much talked about in France about sexual abuse by French soldiers in the Central African Republic. However, there's also controversy inside the UN where a so-called whistleblower, Swedish diplomat by the name of Anders Kompass, reported on this, and this was delayed, buried inside the UN bureaucracy, and he's denounced this as an example.
Yes,
of...
he did denounce it, but he forgot to say that he himself kept the so-called report for 1 year, like others. Why? I mean, that does not change the fact that, you know, it took a lot for the UN to move, and even so. I mean, they were like, no, it's not, it's the French, they're not under the UN.
Which is the case. I mean,
yeah, but at the same time, UN people were raping young girls. The same week, the report came out. And what did the UN do? Nothing.
I mean, there's also criticism of the UN about Haiti and the cholera outbreak.
Yeah.
After years of denying that UN blue helmets from Nepal were the origin of the disease, the UN admitted it. It has not formally apologized, and it is now proposing a fund of $400 million to pay damages to the victim. What's your judgment on the UN's response to this?
I mean, I don't have any, because I cannot understand why they did not acknowledge the fact that it was the Nepalese right away.
They're saying that this would damage their immunity and the future of UN missions across the globe.
It's easy to say that. I mean, it's very easy. It's because they don't want. I mean, and because, I mean, Ban Ki-moon did not want his image to be tarnished.
But wouldn't his image be improved if he apologized to the people of Haiti?
So. But
why doesn't he do it?
I don't know. And you know, he's not the only one. I mean, Kofi Annan never apologized towards the mother of Srebrenica for the massacre. Ever. I don't know why.
So you've been following the UN for some 25 years now.
Yep.
You've seen a number of Secretary Generals. You obviously were not impressed with Ban Ki-moon. Are you hoping that his successor, Antonio Guterres from Portugal, will be better?
I hope so, because he's different and because he is everything the UN does not like. He speaks out his mind. He is not afraid of, telling people what he thinks. So he's not like, it's weird actually when I think about that, because he's everything the UN hates.
But it will be a good test because maybe he will not be that person anymore. Obviously, Secretary General is often said more secretary than general.
Yeah, but he's more general. And he was more like a general than a secretary. And it's going to be interesting.
Including in the areas we discussed, the issue of responsibility of fighting sexual abuse. I mean, he was at the head of the HCR for 10 years.
Yes.
Do you think he's more sensitive to that issue and that he can translate this into more action?
He could, but he will. If there is no political will from countries to change anything, I don't know what he can do or what he could do. I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to see, obviously, how Antonio Guterres fares.
I'm full of hope.
Okay. On those words of hope. Thank you very much, Célhia de Lavarène, and thank you for watching this interview here on France 24.